Okay, so this is something really interesting and definitely something that I didn't think I would be talking about or, really saying. It seems that Ben Shapiro actually has come up in the Mueller probe, which is something that is really interesting. Again, I never thought I'd say that. Now, I'm gonna go through this whole story because I have a bunch of different things I want to touch on, and it's a very lengthy thing that I have to get into. So, first, I want to say that Paul Manafort has pleaded guilty on charges of conspiracy against the United States. Now, this is not anything to do with the 2016 election. This actually goes back to his different money laundering cases and his um, he was essentially he was acting as an agent for Ukraine, um, which he was lobbying for the pro-Russian side of what was going on in Ukraine to allow Russia to be able to, what people call illegally annexing Crimea. So there is a law that is the FARA law. I think it's the Foreign Agents Relations Act. I believe that's what it is. And essentially, what it is if you're going to act as a foreign agent, as Manafort did, you have to actually register. And so that was one of the things that he pleaded guilty to, and the money conspiracy against the IRS and different stuff by money laundering and tax evasion, all that different stuff. So Paul Manafort is a massively, massively corrupt guy, insanely corrupt, um, almost scary corrupt, man. It's like this is the epitome of the worst that you can of corruption in politics. This is you know, insane levels of corruption that I haven't even heard of, which is pretty crazy to really learn specific stories about this, especially because at the time, I don't think too many people knew what exactly was going on. So, basically, Manafort had come together with an Israeli official, um, and he wanted to basically paint the opposition to the basically Russia had who they wanted to put in place is as the Ukrainian president because obviously they were going to annex them, and so what they tried to do is smear that opposition by calling them anti-Semitic. So they Manafort, with the help of Israeli official, fabricated accusations of anti-Semitism in order to aid the Kremlin's Ukrainian Nazis narrative to attack opponents of Putin, one of whom happened to be Hillary Clinton. So this is definitely something that's interesting. Now, I want to. So basically, the whole Manafort stuff started happening in October of 2012. Now, I'm going to read you guys part of this article that breaks this down. Now, they say in addition to the law firm report, Manafort took other steps on behalf of the government of Ukraine to tarnish Tymoshenko in the United States. In addition to disseminating stories about her soliciting murder, noted above in October 2012, Manafort orchestrated a scheme to have, as he wrote in a contemporaneous communication, Obama Jews put pressure on the administration to disavow Tymoshenko and support Yanukovych. Manafort sought to undermine United States support for Tymoshenko by spreading stories in the United States that a senior cabinet official who had been a prominent critic of Yanukovych's treatment of Tymoshenko was supporting anti-Semitism because the official supported Tymoshenko, who in turn had formed a political alliance with the Ukraine party that espoused anti-Semitic views. Manafort coordinated privately with the senior Israeli government official, to issue a written statement publicizing the story. Manafort then, with secret advanced knowledge of that Israeli statement, worked to disseminate this story in the United States, writing to Person D1, quote, I have someone pushing it on the NY Post, bada bing, bada boom. Manafort sought to have the administration understand that, quote, the Jewish community will take this out on Obama on election day if he does nothing. Manafort then told his United States lobbyist to inform the administration that Ukraine had worked to prevent the administration's presidential opponent from including damaging language in the Israeli statement so as not to harm the administration and thus further ingratiate Yanukovych with the administration. So, here is another part of this article which breaks it down even further. It says the article cited a Jewish, quote, leader who accused Clinton anonymously of creating a, quote, neo-Nazi Frankenstein. Gates wrote, quote, "Gentlemen, here's the first part of a series of articles that will be coming as we continue to build this effort. Alan, you get full credit for the Frankenstein comment." So, what is the article that he had flagged there? He flagged Ben Shapiro's article talking about this, meaning that essentially he gave that information over to Ben Shapiro to write this article. Now this, there were 3 of these articles actually that came out. 3 of them. One of them on October 24th on 2012, one on October 29th, 2012, and one on November 2nd, 2012. Now, the headline of the October 24th one says, "Hillary sides with anti-Semitic Ukrainian opposition." The second one says, "Jewish leaders blame Hillary Clinton for legitimizing Ukraine's neo-Nazi party." And the third one says, "ADL blasts Hillary blessed Ukrainian opposition for anti-Semitism." So, you have these 3 articles that come in here with what article did Rick Gates actually flag as the beginning of the uprising? The Breitbart article that was written by Ben Shapiro. Yes, that is right. So we have proof here that essentially they fed Ben Shapiro this info, and there is a lot of other evidence to prove that as well. Here's a funny thing. He actually posted this tweet on June 20th of 2016 saying, "Manafort took over the Trump campaign like it was Crimea." Whoa, what the fuck? That did not age well at all, because what the fuck? What do you mean Manafort took over the Trump campaign like it was Crimea? What? You're trying to tell me, what did Manafort, how do you know about this? How do you know about what Manafort did in relation with Crimea? You know what I mean? So that is really fucking, that didn't age well, and holy crap, it is very telling that we know that, okay, it's very obvious that you know more than we do about what the fuck is going on here. And it's because they've been feeding you info. They've been feeding your ass info. We have even more evidence that he's going back and scrubbing his shit, man. He's scared shitless. Holy smokes. So here's something else that's hilarious. So Ben Shapiro has actually he deleted all of his tweets between the 24th of October and the 2nd of November, which was, the days that he wrote the articles. So he didn't actually have any more until after that. So how do we know this? Well, it's pretty hilarious, because basically what happened is we still see the Breitbart tweets, and we know for a fact that he was superbly active at the time on Twitter. And how do we know that? Well, guess what? So there's a bunch of people, this guy found these tweets that were responding to Ben Shapiro tweets on those dates. This screenshot is of a tweet response on the 25th of October in 2012. Another one, 29th of October 2012. A bunch of these, the 1st of November 2012. And the tweet that they're responding to is actually fucking deleted. It is deleted. I am not shitting you. It's insane. It's unbelievable, man. It's he's gone through, and it's just, he scrubbed everything. And there's even more evidence of this shit too, because his tweets just absolutely fucking reek of this shit. Like one of the tweets he sent out on the 19th of 2016 said, "So with Manafort gone, who's the next Russian ambassador to the Trump campaign?" How do you know that, dog? How do you know about all that shit? How do you know that he's, a Russian ambassador to the Trump campaign? Oh man, that's pretty fucking, honestly, dude, it's pretty fucking insane. It's pretty fucking insane. And he has the gall to just go on and fraud on different tweets too. trying to act as if it was like Obama who allowed the Russian, Ukrainian, supported people to take power and annex Crimea, when he was the one actually writing the hit pieces on their cabinet and their administration. So there are so many different levels to this. With first of all, we have obvious evidence that it happened from the direct word of Paul Manafort and Rick Gates themselves. But number two, what we have is, well, we have the article proof, of course. Then we have Ben Shapiro wiping his tweets. The guy legit wiped his tweets. He deleted them. He got rid of them. On the dates between the first article and the last article, all the tweets are gone. Despite there being tweet responses, he went back and scrubbed those. That is, holy smokes. That is really hilarious. We still see the Breitbart tweets there, the Breitbart Twitter account tweets of those articles. Those are still there, but Ben Shapiro's aren't actually there. So, and we have him making that remark about Paul Manafort taking over Crimea. It's like, yo, dog, what did you mean about that? What did you know about that, bro? Like, how do you know about that? So, it's pretty bad. It's really fucking bad. Now, the question would be, is he in legal trouble here? It doesn't look like it. He probably just scrubbed his tweets just to protect his public image. And there's not too many people talking about it, which sucks. I wish more people would talk about it because I think it's pretty important. I mean, it shows that he's essentially a mouthpiece to literally, obviously, we know he's been a mouthpiece for Israel forever, but now we also know that he's been a mouthpiece for Russia, literally. No, he he wrote hit pieces going after the Obama administration on the behalf of the Russian government, who wanted to implant their own Ukrainian, essentially, government because they want to annex Crimea. So it's pretty insane. Now, what would be illegal? Possibly the Foreign Agent Relations Act. However, I think because he was, an article writer for the Breitbart, which isn't foreign owned, I don't think it applies to him. I don't know if he's directly fed it from a foreign agent. Does that apply to the law? Honestly, I don't know. I tried reading up on it. It's pretty confusing, but the conclusion I came to from reading up was that essentially, if you're someone who works at a news network and you're given that info, as long as that network isn't foreignly owned, you don't have to file FARA papers, which I'm not really sure, to be honest. But the question also is did he get paid for this? I don't know, man. But we gotta figure this out, because he scrubbed all those tweets, and everything on those days is just gone. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. It's pretty interesting.